features of a programming language, or the key features that you're going to find in every programming language. And I mean each one of programming languages that you are ever going to learn. Okay? So what is the first feature that you're going to find in a programming language? One, the first feature is syntax. So I talked about syntax in the previous video, where it's a set of rules like that helps you to arrange symbols and words in an order in which the computer accepts, and that order is called what? Rules. But the stipulation on how to arrange the keywords, those are called rules, but the arrangement itself is called syntax. Okay, so syntax is simply the grammar or the rules of the language. So if a language allows you to put a plus between two numbers for it to be able to give you a sum, then that is what the rule is. If the programming language allows you to put the plus behind the two numbers, then that is the rule that the computer program allows you. So the syntax is not going to be the same. In most cases, you might have common operations like maybe addition, multiplication, arithmetic operations, logic operations. When a computer is doing maybe arithmetic operations like mathematical operations, multiplication, addition, subtraction, those instructions might be the same from one programming to another, from one programming language to another, but they may differ a little bit in syntax. So programming languages ultimately do the same thing, but they may differ in syntax. Okay, but the concept you say is the same. So when it comes to syntax, I don't want you to overthink a programming language. So think of a programming language just like you have English and Spanish. So in English, you need a certain number of factors to come up with a proper sentence. You need a subject, you need a verb, you need an adjective for you to have a sentence in English. So that very same way, that's the rule, or those are the rules that you follow to construct good sentences in English. In that same way, in that bracket, those rules are sometimes called syntax and sometimes called grammar. So in the very same way, a programming language also has its own grammar that you should follow when you're writing instructions, when you're trying to talk to a computer. Okay? So equally in Spanish, there is a way that you pronounce certain words, certain vowels, and there is a way in which you arrange a subject, an adjective, and also a verb to come up with a sentence. So in that same manner, a programming language also has its own grammar or its own rules. Okay? So in the very same nature, English and Spanish are all used for communication, but yet their grammar is different. The way you pronounce words is different. You can say, how are you in English, but the way you're going to say it in Spanish is different, but you mean the same thing. That is the same thing that happens with programming languages. In Java, you're going to have a syntax for adding to say 2 plus 2. In Python, you might have it as 2, 2 plus. Okay? But it's 2x, that's Python, but they are all going to give you a sum at the end of the day. Okay? So syntax, a programming language, first of all, just think of it as any other human spoken language. English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, whatever language that you want to put there. A programming language has its own grammar, just like any other human spoken language has its own grammar. So you must know every programming language has a syntax or a grammar, and you must follow that grammar. Okay? After that, you should understand semantics. So semantic means that behind every grammar of a programming language, there should be a meaning. Okay? So a programming language has semantic. A semantic is the meaning behind the syntax. So if you say 2 plus 2, it means give me the sum. It does not mean give me the product. Product is multiplication. If you say plus, it should be a sum. So semantic means a computer programming language should be able to read the meaning behind symbols and the arrangement of the syntax. Okay? So semantic just simply means the computer program should have the ability to accurately convey the meaning behind each instruction that it is given. Okay? From there, you're going to have keywords. So every programming language, a key feature of any programming language is that any programming language has keywords. And these words, keywords, are the ones that are used as commands. Okay? Commands to control the computer behavior. So if I want a computer to stop, I can type break. If I want a computer to continue, I can type continue. Okay. If I want a computer to decide, I can type if. Okay. So a computer has keywords. Computer programming language has keywords. So another feature that you should look out for in every programming language is that every programming language should be what? It should be translatable. Translatable means that every programming language, all the keywords, the semantic and the syntax that exists in a programming language must be converted into what? Into zeros and ones, or sometimes called machine code or binary code. Because remember that computers are only able to understand things or information that is given to it in what? In zeros and in ones. And we'll talk about more of these zeros and ones later on in like forthcoming videos. Okay, but the key feature that a computer program should have is that it should be able to translate the keywords that exist in a computer program into binary code or zeros and ones, which is a language that computers understand. Okay, so when you write an instruction, let's say in Java, that instruction in Java must be converted to zeros and ones. Okay, for a computer to be able to execute that instruction. So a programming language is what changes the instruction into zeros and what? And ones. Okay, so the four main key features, okay, the four key features of a programming language is that one, the programming language should have rules or syntax on how to arrange symbols. Should have semantics, should be able to read the meaning behind symbols. Two, it should have keywords that allows users or developers to write instructions. Three, the programming language should be able to translate information from the programming language or from the instruction given into binary, machine code, or zeros and ones. So these are the four main features of a programming language.